Last week, residents of Cedar Falls and Waterloo came out to a public hearing and environmental assessment availability for the proposed improvement of Iowa 934 or University Avenue in Cedar Falls and Waterloo from Iowa 58 to US 63. Held at the Clarion Inn on University Avenue in Cedar Falls, the room was packed with concerned citizens. The purpose of this hearing was to update the public on the progress of the project, present the completed environmental assessment for the area, the alternatives carried forward in the environmental assessment, and the impacts of these alternatives. And finally, to gather feedback from the public about the project's environmental assessment. University Avenue is currently an Iowa Department of Transportation jurisdictional roadway, which means that the Iowa DOT owns University Avenue. Back in 2007, the City of Cedar Falls and the City of Waterloo started to discuss reconstruction for the deteriorating roadway. However, the Iowa DOT did not and still does not have funding for the reconstruction. This resulted in a co-op agreement between Cedar Falls, Waterloo, Iowa DOT, and INTRCOG in June 2008 to form a developed corridor planning study. Within the agreement, INTRCOG was the lead agency for the planning phase and hired a consultant to develop planning levels concepts for the corridor. They knew that the reconstruction would have to be done in phases going from west to east, starting at Highway 58 in Cedar Falls and ending at Highway 63 in Waterloo. From there, Iowa DOT took the lead on the design phase of the project and hired 2 consultants to assist with the environmental assessment. These designs were only to assist in the environmental phase of the project. Back in 2012, there was a presentation of 5 alternatives for University Avenue from the DOT. After the meeting, the alternatives were narrowed down to 2, alternatives 2 and 4. Alternative 2 is a 4-lane roadway with traffic signals at various intersections. And alternative 4 is also a 4-lane roadway, but with both traffic signals and roundabouts at various intersections. At the time, the Iowa DOT asked both Cedar Falls and Waterloo to endorse or recommend which alternative they prefer. The Cedar Falls City Council preferred alternative 4 because it had the widest footprint, which meant that there would be more design options available compared to alternative 2. This was in no way the design University Avenue was going to become. Rather, it was just a design to base the environmental footprint on when doing the environmental assessment. After the decision, the environmental assessment started. This was last winter and the environmental assessment is now done. The public hearing last week was to present the completed environmental assessment and hear the public's opinion and answer their questions.
The purpose of this meeting, it's part of the federal process to clear a project environmentally for federal funding when it becomes available. So what we have shown here tonight is called a preferred alternative. It's an alternative that the city councils of Cedar Falls and Waterloo have approved, as well as the DOT. And what it does is it shows the largest area that may be affected on a project on University Avenue. Once that area is cleared, then decisions can be made as far as changing what is laid out here, and that's in the design phase. Just as an example, if we would have put this out and we would have had signals at every intersection and it was approved, and then we went and looked and it came out where, we'd like to put roundabouts here. They take up a bigger area, that area wouldn't have been cleared and it wouldn't be possible. So what this does, it just clears the biggest area so we have more options as far as decisions when it comes to intersections.
Though the preferred alternative was the one including the roundabouts, this does not mean that University Avenue will in fact have roundabouts after reconstruction. But by using the roundabout alternative, there will be more room in the design phase to put various alternatives in without having to clear an even bigger footprint. The biggest footprint will already be cleared. Once funding is provided, the design phase will begin and more public hearings will be held. However, people chose to make sure their opinions on the design were heard early on.
Well, a lot of the things we heard are a lot of things we hear when roundabouts are brought up all the time. There are concerns about trucks getting through, and a lot of it is the unknown. It's not something that people are used to, and we completely understand that. But like our assistant district engineer said, every place roundabouts have been put in, they are safer. And when there are crashes, they're low-speed crashes, they're minor crashes. They aren't the high impact T-bone broadside crashes. There are the people who are in favor of them too. They do move more traffic through an intersection than signals do, than four-way stops do. It's actually kind of interesting. There is a Mythbusters, if you're aware of that show. They did a study, and they did a four-way stop compared to a roundabout. And the roundabout moved a great more number of vehicles through the intersection.
So what is next for the improvement of University Avenue project? Once the environmental assessment has been passed and cleared, they will look for funding, and once funding is established, the design phase will commence.
And as far as the design phase, as far as the intersections, what they are going to be, if there's going to be sidewalks, if there's going to be bike lanes, that's the cities, Waterloo and Cedar Falls, will make those final decisions.
You can still post your comments on this project by going to iowadot.gov. From there, click the A to Z button beside the search bar. Select P and click Public Meetings. On this page, there's a list of meetings. Look for this October 29th meeting. There you can find the environmental assessment, the presentation from the hearing, and other related documents. Be sure to leave your opinion or concern, and those comments will be documented. We will keep you updated here on Cedar Falls City News on updates for this project and future public hearings. Reporting for Cedar Falls City News, I'm Shelby Gappa.